I've got the whole instrument sanded to 220, and now I'm almost ready to start putting the lacquer on the ukulele. One thing I want to do before I start spraying lacquer is mask off the bridge position, so I'm right in the middle of locating the bridge in its correct place. The theoretical position of the bridge is twice the distance from the nut to the 12th fret. In this case, that's 172 millimeters. So if I doubled that, that would give me 344 millimeters to have that as the midpoint of the saddle slot. But you have to add some compensation to offset the fact that as you travel up the neck, you're distorting the string a little more because of the sharper angle from the bridge, and the strings tend to go sharp. So on all fretted instruments, you have to move the saddle a little bit farther back from its theoretical ideal point. And what I find on ukuleles is I get good intonation if I slide the bridge back 3 millimeters from that theoretical spot where it's supposed to be. So that means I want the middle of the saddle slot at 347 millimeters, not 344. So that gives me the front to back location of the bridge. And the other thing I need to worry about is side to side. If the bridge is off too far toward one side or the other, the strings are not going to be evenly spaced along the fretboard. So I'm putting a straight edge right down at the beginning of the fretboard and then in the middle of the first string slot. And I can see or measure that there's about 4 millimeters of fretboard showing in the last fret position. Now I'll do the same thing on the 4th string, and that is also about 4 millimeters. So good guess on my part. If that had been uneven, that measurement here, I would have moved the bridge one way or the other to even that out, and that way, as I said, I'll get good string spacing from side to side or from the 1st to the 4th string. So now I'm just gonna double check to make sure. 172, 347, and 172, 347. So that's where I want the bridge to be. Before I mark and mask that off, I'm just going to drill a couple of locating holes, and this will help me down the road when I'm ready to actually glue the bridge onto the top of the instrument. I saw this end move ever so slightly when I drilled the hole, so let me just make sure. Yep, still good. Okay. So I don't want to make pencil marks to show where the bridge is supposed to be. Instead, I'll put tape all around it. The tape's pretty sticky, and so a nice trick people use is before you put the tape down, because I don't want the really sticky tape to tear wood fibers. I've already sanded the top to its final thickness, so I'm just going to make it a little less sticky by pressing it against my shirt a couple times. That way, when I lift the tape off, it won't tear any wood fibers with it. And this is only going to be on here for a couple minutes just to mark the spot while I get a thin piece of tape right where the bridge is actually going to be sitting. And that just will make life easier. After I get all the lacquer on, I won't have to be scraping it off very much at the bridge location. Okay, that's that. So now I'm going to cut a little piece of this tape and stick it on there. Alright, that's where the bridge will sit. You can see this tape comes off nice and clean. Didn't pull any wood fibers with it. So I'll just mask off the fretboard, plug the sound hole, and I'm ready to start spraying lacquer.